At the beginning of this part, the teacher continues, as you can see, when this Platras potion is mixed with the refined Kel water, a red sediment and black bubbles are formed. Andrea says, maybe I could meet Selena and Chris at the night faculty training ground? I'm sure both of them are training hard to try to catch up with Luis. Still, he should already know that I'm a black mage, thanks to the whole sloth mess. And yet, he doesn't seem particularly interested in me. The teacher calls someone and says, I have a matter I wish to discuss with you, Master Jester. Jester replies, what is it, Kyler? The teacher says, Backed Alvin is starting to become suspicious of me. I'm afraid I'll have to step away from the academy soon. Jester asks, is it because of Karen's death? The teacher replies, yes, perhaps a lead on me was leaked from his private office. Jester thinks, he's getting afraid. Renox and Hosen are dead, and the crown is also missing. On top of that, Karen's screw-up has forced Kyler to withdraw. Moreover, the acolytes have also suffered a great loss. Nothing is going as planned. Jester asks, when are you going to make your next move? Kyler says, very soon. An exchange meeting between Milko Academy and Rodlen is about to start. And how is that relevant? Before I leave, don't you think it would be better to crush these budding Empire youths before they start becoming trouble? Jester says, not a bad idea. Kyler says, I plan to make my exit in the confusion. Well then, I'll be reporting to you later. Jester says, understood. Jester walks away, thinking, all the people I've planted in the academy are now gone. Now that it comes down to this, Andreas Cromwell, I have no choice but to drag that young man to the congregation. After that, we see Selena Irestial practicing her swordsmanship. She gets tired and says, I need a break. She sees Chris Uner training and says, Chris, let's take a break. Going overboard is bad for your body, you know. Chris replies, why don't you worry about yourself, Selena? Selena says, geez, you're such a stoic. You didn't watch the tournament final, did you? Chris says, I was training. Selena says, there was this incredible guy who could use a sword and magic at the same time. Chris says, how laughable. Are you telling me that a half-wit who can't even master one thing made it to the finals? Chris continues, guess I was right not to watch it. Selena says, you can say that only because you didn't watch it. I heard that Luis also recognized that senior's ability. Andreas walks toward them. Chris says, that Luis recognized such a mongrel, you said? Looks like that guy doesn't have an eye. For a freshman to trash-talk a senior he has never met before. Andreas, that's not good. Chris asks, who are you? Andreas replies, me? I'm the half-wit from the magic faculty with a sword dangling from my hip. Selena bows and says, I'm so sorry, senior. This guy has too much pride when it comes to swords. He can't help but misspeak. Andreas says, pride? Yet I can't see any conviction in his swordsmanship. He's like one of those slobs who can't decide whether or not to press his girlfriend for cheating on him. Chris thinks he goes directly for the sore spot. How can he tell just by looking? Chris asks, what would a mage posing as a knight know? Andreas replies, I think I know more than you. Chris says, if you say so, then please show it to me. Andreas thinks, as I thought, he's a sore loser. Andreas says, sure. Selena says, you too, calm down. You'll be suspended if you commit violence in the academy. Chris says, come on, Selena. We're just going to have a training match on the training ground. Selena says, quit with the smart talk. Andreas says, having a training match won't be a problem. I guarantee it. Chris smiles and says, for a mage, you've sure got a lot of nerve. Andreas says, all right, come at me, freshman. Chris says, I hope you won't regret this, senior. Selena asks, me too. Can I have a match with you as well? To be able to fight a mongrel who can use aura and mana at the same time. I mean, to fight another person is such a rare opportunity. Andreas says, get ready, because soon it'll be your turn. Chris says, sorry, Selena. There won't be a turn for you. He jumps toward Andreas, and Andreas easily blocks the attack. Andreas pushes Chris back, smiling. He thinks he's certainly fast, but one of the 5 great swordsmanship styles of this continent, the Uner style, is anything but this. His style to advance the game is by specializing in this swordsmanship, but Andreas hits Chris from behind and thinks, the way he is right now, he's not using the Uner style at all. A style that makes the most of speed to draw an ever-changing sword stroke. Seems he tried to do too many things and ended up making his movements strange in his hurry to beat Luis. I'll use this opportunity to steer him in the right direction. Andreas says, stop fooling around and give it your all, Chris. Chris gets angry and says, those words. I'll make you regret saying them. Uner-style swordsmanship, sword howls. Andreas breaks Chris's sword and asks, you call that Uner-style swordsmanship? Do you really think you can become strong just by picking the best of everything? Keep following your own path without any doubts. That's the right way. Andreas says, next. Selena, it's your turn. Selena says, I'm ready. Andreas thinks, in her case, she is the exact opposite of Chris. Her family's swordsmanship, instead, kills her strong points. Selena's family swordsmanship is only viable if one is born with natural strength. Andreas says, come. He continues, in other words, it's not suitable for her, who lacks the necessary strength. She jumps toward him and says, here I come. Andreas smiles and thinks, good, come at me. Because I've got a ton of things I want to teach you. Subscribe for more.